Oh, I am a very, very, very happy person today. Why? Because the Oakland Raiders are officially 5-2 on the year. They won their fourth consecutive road game of the year. So far this year, the Oakland Raiders are undefeated playing on the road. First time they've done that since 2000, I believe. So that's a huge, huge deal. And in fact, they've only done that twice in franchise history, 2000 and also 1977. So the more you know. Really, so much I want to say about this win Sunday. Clearly, it's the absolute best performance the Raiders have had all season long. It's the first time the defense actually looked competent. And I mean, there's some things you can complain about, but just overall, this was just a one-sided drubbing. This is exactly the kind of game the Raiders needed after losing to Kansas City. They weren't really competitive in that one. They come back in this one. They got all their starters back. Latavius Murray is healthy. And they just went in there and they imposed their will on Jacksonville. And I think really, even look at the score 33-16. Yeah, I mean, still that's what? Oh, goodness. 17-point victory right there. Even then, I think that doesn't really tell the whole story of just how much the Raiders dominated. I mean, the Jaguars even get like a touchdown until like 8 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter. It was an absolute domination, one of the most resounding victories the Raiders have had in a long time. And a few things that I would attribute to that. For starters, you look at the numbers here, and I mean, really, they're not that different if you just look at the stats. As far as passing, the Raiders had 200 yards, Jacksonville had 239. Rushing yards for Jacksonville, 105. Rushing yards for the Raiders, 144. So, I mean, if you're just going by basic numerical data, you're probably wondering to yourself, well, how did the Raiders end up blowing away this game? Well, I can answer that in a couple of statements real quick. Number one, turnovers. Jacksonville, they had two interceptions and a costly fumble, all which set up scoring drives for the Raiders. That's one. Another thing is the run game. I think more than ever in the National Football League, if you can run the ball successfully, you can win games. You can have a winning record, and not a lot of teams can do that. And I mean, even the Raiders this year have struggled, but when they go out there and they win and they have dominant showings like this, almost always it's because they have a solid running attack. And this was a really great, approach. I mean, you had Latavius Murray going out there getting two touchdowns, only 59 yards in the day, but just hammering down the middle. Everybody's getting points on there. You got Johnny Holton of all people before he got ejected. Getting a pretty good run in there. Jameez Olawale going in there doing what he does. Jalen Richard, DeAndre Washington, just the running back committee going in there and just moving the rock, putting it down the opponent's throat, and just going downfield. There were points in this game where Derek Carr couldn't hit anybody, where the guys just couldn't reel it in. Obviously, you had Amari Cooper covered all day. Michael Crabtree, though, is Michael Crabtree. He's going to go there. He's going to get points. He's going to snag them down. And, of course, he got a touchdown there because he always gets a touchdown. So even with the Raiders' aerial attack a little bit hampered because of the way Amari Cooper is being covered, they turned around and said, all right, we'll just run the ball on you. And they did. And I think as long as the Raiders can effectively run the ball, they can win games. But clearly the story of this game has to be the Raiders' defense. For the first time all season, this looked like the multi-million-dollar superstar doomsday defense we all thought it was going to be. Just a lot of pressure on Bortles. They're pressuring him all day. I believe he got sacked just once, but he was hit behind the line a bajillion times. They did a good job stopping the run for the most part. And clearly, I mean, there were no rushing touchdowns. There's only one touchdown the entire game for Jacksonville, and that was way, way late. Garbage time points. So the Raiders, I'm just really impressed. Oh, and actually they had two fumbles for Jacksonville. I forgot to bring that up. Just looking at the stats, I mean, they're just a great team. All around, you got interceptions going on. You got the ball getting knocked loose. Khalil Mack, he went in there, he got a sack. So it's just a really, really good overall showing. Cornerbacks looking better. Reggie Nilsson got an interception. That's a big one. So I think our game against the pass is looking better, even though a lot of it has to do with Black Bulls doing really dumb things, like throwing the ball into triple coverage on that one play in the end zone. But yeah, just overall a great showing by the Raiders. It's a game where Derek Carr pretty much took the day off, but the run game and the defense held up. And if they can do that, this team's going places. So I haven't actually watched the Houston-Denver game, but even if Denver wins, the Raiders by proxy are still going to be number one in the AFC West. That's great. I love it. Coming up this Sunday, though, I think we have the definition of a trap game against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, what's interesting about them is that they sort of pose a threat the Raiders haven't seen all season. They haven't actually played against a scrambling quarterback, the kind of mobile guy who doesn't stay in the pocket. So that really intrigues me from a defensive standpoint. And also the Buccaneers, in case you didn't know, they are really, really good at running the ball. And we've seen the Raiders have some pretty key deficiencies against stopping the run this season. So that should be interesting. But then again, Tampa Bay's defense is not really that great. I think it's going to be a lot of points here for the Raiders. It's a game where even though Vegas right now has Tampa Bay as a 1-point favorite, believe it or not, I think the Raiders, for all intents and purposes, should go out there and win this one game. Maybe not by as huge a margin against the Jaguars, but it should chalk them up. They should be 6-2 and 5-0 on the road at this point, which is just huge. And then you got the game against Denver coming up, and that's going to tell us a lot about whether we should make reservations for January or not. So hang in there. So far, the Raiders just dominating, being the road warriors, 4th road game of the win, best win all year against the Jaguars. And you know what? As good as this is, the way this team's playing, the way the defense is gelling, the way the run game is going, I think the best, believe it or not, Raider Nation is yet to come.